So I got this sauna, I don't know, like a month ago. And so I wake up and try to do this pretty much every morning, as long as my work schedule permits it and hunting schedule permits it. Some things that have been coming up for me in here is, contemplation. Spend a lot of time kind of thinking. I try to start my day in productive ways. I'll listen to some Bible verses. I try to feed myself some positive messages about things. Something that's been coming up for me is like, I haven't been posting these videos near as much as like I used to. One, because I feel like I haven't been working on something. Right? I'm not training for any races. I'm not fighting anymore, that kind of stuff. And it's because I've been dealing with a pretty substantial back injury. And so I felt like, okay, well, what do I really have to say to people, if I'm not doing something? And I think that's been the big thing that I've kind of had a revolution about, is that I don't always have to be doing something. I've really been working on trying to be more present with stuff. It's challenging, right? It's one of the hardest things for me. When this back stuff came up for me and the pain became somewhat more manageable, I tried to switch that contemplation into, what is this trying to teach me? And I think that was the big thing, was how to be able to slow down, how not to be constantly running, how not to be, constantly doing something in order to feel some sense of peace. I felt like I was always running from the anxiety or stress or whatever it was to try to manage it. And if you don't have more tools in your toolbox, and that's your one tool to manage those things, then it's not effective. And so what's been coming up for me is trying to lean on some other stuff, right? So, the red light therapy, sauna, trying to show gratitude and appreciation for things, spending more time with my family. Those are things that I've been working on. Also contemplating a lot about how I've made changes in my life. My job is to help other people and help them make changes. And I think that's been my big quest in regards to how do I communicate this to more people. I know what's worked for me and I know what's done for me, but I know, it may not work for everybody. And I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to find a cookie cutter answer that fits every person. But for myself, there were some things that had to take place in order for me to make changes in my life. So what I'm going to do is, moving forward, I think once a week, I'll try to post something about, what were some things that were helpful for me to make changes in my life, and share that with others.